Hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you're all well. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to assemble your beaded cubes from the previous video into this cool beaded infinity cube, which is a fun fidget toy made entirely out of beads. So if you haven't watched part 1, you need to go back and watch that now, because you're going to need 8 cubes that we made in the previous video in order to make this. So for the assembly you've already got everything you need, so let's get started. So you're going to start by laying out your beads like this with 2 rows of 4, and then you're going to thread your needle onto the first bead on the top left. So you're going to take this first cube and we're going to be joining it to this second one, so you can pick that one up like this. But first of all we need to move our thread around a little bit into this size 15 bead on the side. So any one of those size 15 beads that are along the sides. So you've got 2 on each side of your cube. You just need to be coming out of the top one on any of those sides like that. So you've got, on all of your cubes, you've got the size 15 beads. So coming out of here, we're then going to pick up a size 15 and going into the middle size 11 bead on the other cube. So you need to find your size 15s, and there's in the middle there's that size 11 in that same row as where your size 15s are, if you can see that. So you need to find that middle size 11 bead right there and go down through that bead. That's our first one added. Now picking up a second size 15 and going back into the right hand cube now, down through the bottom size 15 on that side that we're working on. So that's our second one added. So we have this. Now we're going to be picking up a third size 15 bead, and coming out of the bottom of this size 15 you're going to go up through the bottom size 15 on the left hand cube like that. And now you're going to go up through that second size 15 that we added. So if I pull it apart, there you go. So up through that second one that we added, from bottom through to the top. So it sits like that. And then you're going to go into that size 11 on the right hand cube that's in the middle. So find that row of where your size 15s are again and find the size 11 that sits in the middle of those. So that one right there. And you're going to go up through that bead. So we have this. Now you're going to go up through that first size 15 that we added in the middle. Like that. So from left to right to make it sit upwards. And then up through the top size 15 bead on the left hand cube. And then we're going to add one final size 15 for this hinge. So picking up one more size 15. And you're going to go down through the top size 15 bead on the right hand cube. So down through that one. And then once you've done that, that's your first hinge done, and you can just go through all of those beads again to make it nice and secure. And then you can go ahead and tie knots and cut off that thread to get it out of the way. Once you feel like you've gone through those enough times and it's nice and tight and secure. So I'm just going through all of those beads again, like I said, and then I'm going to tie the thread off. So I've done that and I've tied off that thread. So we have this, so that hinge sits down that side. Now we're going to add the next cube. So it's going to be joined across the top. So from where my thread is, I'm just going to move so I've threaded my needle, sorry, onto the next cube, and I need to be coming out of this side, so I'm going to move down until I'm coming out of the size 15 bead on that side. So your hinge is down this side that you've already got, and you need to be coming out of this size 15 bead on this side. So just make sure you're in the same place as me before you continue. So then you can pick up your next cube and holding them together, we're coming out of this top size 15, we're going to add a 15 through that one, add a 15 through that one, add a 15 back up, and I'm going to show you how to do it anyway. So picking up one through that middle size 11 on the right hand cube, picking up a size 15 through the bottom size 15 on the left hand cube, same as we did last time, picking up a size 15 and up through the bottom size 15 on the right hand cube. Now back up through that second size 15 that we added. Up through the middle size 11 on the left hand cube. So find that one that sits in the same row as those two size 15s, and then up through the 15 that we first added, up through the size 15 on the top of the right hand cube, and then adding that final one on the top. So picking up one more size 15 and going down through the top size 15 on the left hand cube, like that. And then again you can go through all of those beads again to make it nice and tight, and then cut off your thread and ready to add the next one. So when you've done that, then lay it out again like this. You've got your one hinge there at the top, on the side, one hinge here. So keep it laid out like that so we're in the right place, and then thread your needle onto your next cube. And just make sure you've moved around so it's coming out of that size 15 on the side, like that. So then we're going to lay it down like this. So you're going to be creating a hinge down this side. So picking it up like this and threads coming out here on this side. So then you're going to go ahead and add the hinge right there like we normally do. Tie off the thread and then thread your needle onto your next cube. So right now we've got a hinge down this side, a hinge across the top, and a hinge down this side here. So keep that laid out like that, and then thread your needle onto your next cube, and we're going to add that, and this time the hinge is going to be across the bottom. So make sure your needle is coming out of one of those size 15s as always before you continue, and then that needs to be laying on the bottom of your cube like that, and join them together like that because that's where the hinge is going to be, and then flip it over so you can hold it and go ahead and add your hinge here across the bottom, tie off your thread. So then you have this. So again for the positioning, I'm threading my needle onto that next cube, but for the positioning right now we've got the hinge down the side, across the top, down the side, and right there at the bottom. This time the hinge is going to be down the side again. So picking up your cube, make sure you're coming out of that size 15 and then lay it down so that that is along the side. Down here is where we're going to add the hinge. So we're going to lay that cube down with the thread at the side here and then pick it up like that, ready to add the hinge. So go ahead and add the hinge in the same way as always and then tie off that thread. Okay, so we have this. So right now, positions again. Thread your needle onto your next cube and then make sure you've got yours laying out so that your hinge is down the side, across the top, down the side, at the bottom and down the side. And then the next one is going to join like parallel to the other side, it's going to join along the top. So you've got your needle coming out of that size 15 and it's just going to lie there along the top. The hinge is going to be here. So picking it up like that and then adding the hinge in the same way. Okay, and threading my needle onto that final bead. So here's where, showing you where the hinges are at the moment. Make sure yours is lying like this before you continue, and make sure your needle's coming out of one of those size 15 beads. So we've got to add 2 hinges to this one. So for the first one's going to be here down the side, so position it so your thread's in the right place, and then picking it up and add in the hinge in the same way. The next one's going to be along the bottom, so go ahead and add that hinge, but don't cut off your thread this time. This time we need to keep it ready to add the final hinge, so go ahead and add that, and then you should have this. So we've got hinge, 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 hinge at the bottom, hinge, hinge down the side, and the final one is going to be again at the bottom. So holding it like this, when you open it out lengthways like that, your hinge is going to be like it is at the bottom. It's going to be along those bottom beads, so you can kind of flip it over and see it's going to be along there. So your needle is going to be coming out near your previous hinge, so you just need to move your thread around from there until you're coming out of that size 15 there at the bottom, so that you're in position to add that next hinge. So go ahead and move your needle around until you're coming out of there, and then you'll be able to add that final hinge and it will be all finished. So I've moved my needle around, so once you've done that you can just pick it up. Here my needle is coming out of that bead at the bottom, so I'm just going to flip it over like that so it's easy for me to work with, and then add the hinge in the same way as always and cut off the thread. So that is what it looks like once it's finished. If you've got all the hinges in the right place, then it should spin like this, all different directions. It goes both ways, and the more times you go through the hinges, the tighter it'll be to spin. But I hope you've enjoyed this video and you're able to make one of these. If you do make one, I'd love to see a video. You can tag me on Instagram at Beading by Hannah, so I can see all the different colours that you decide to do. Like this video and subscribe if you enjoyed to see more of my videos, and you can comment down below anything else you'd like to see on my channel. As always, thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.